Let's talk about our suite of solutions, what I like to think of as a portfolio of products. So our portfolio has expanded a lot in the past few years. Can we go to the next slide? Thank you. We started out with StreetLight Insight, which was focused entirely on planning in our origin story 13 years ago. And I think of our original product as a Swiss Army knife that transportation planners like to have in their pocket, and it can solve a huge array of different problems, but you really have to know how to use the tools, right? You have to be a pro. Don't worry, the Swiss Army knife has not and will not go anywhere. But as we've matured, we've organized our planning solutions into separate specific products. Right now there are 7, but it's growing all the time. You can see them on the left, and Haley and Nicholas will tell you more details. But in general, they're targeted at our most common use cases, and they have enhanced user experiences so that you can get to the analytics you need in a couple clicks with no post-processing, fiddling with things in Excel or whatever necessary, and accompanied with fantastic storytelling visualizations. With these products under planning solutions, we want to first save you even more time so you can spend your time fighting the fight, making good decisions and promoting them in your community. Of course, we want to make the products easier for new folks to use so they don't have the same learning curve. And we want to offer more bite-sized ways to start using StreetLight so that it's available to smaller projects, smaller cities, et cetera, to tackle the most critical transportation challenges. So for our same traditional base of customers, agencies, consultants, we've also built out some other solution suites with new products. And some of you longtime StreetLight users, I recognize, and not a lot of names on that sign-in, might not be as familiar with these. These are in the category of safety, operations, and climate. And again, you're going to hear details about them coming up. And another big change, which isn't visible to everyone, is in original StreetLight, we had a lot of commercial sector users, but they basically use tools developed for the public sector. They just sort of squish them into working for their commercial use cases. And we've built out some other solutions to make that a little easier for our commercial users. So for all those products on the left, they're all about use case, right? They're designed to get an answer to a specific known use case. On the right, you see our mobility data solutions product set. That is for people, they know their use case, they want the data, they just want to manipulate it themselves. These are folks who probably have a bunch of data scientists on staff. And our traditional Swiss Army knife product falls into that category too, a mode subscription, right? Where you can get everything that StreetLight does just for cars or just for trucks. We have 2 new mobility data solutions that are launching in the next few weeks, and both are related to our recently announced partnership with GM, General Motors. So we're going to be bringing General Motors connected car data to market, filling a gap left by Wejo, and this is going to show up in a few places. First, it's going to show up in a bunch of the products, the use case products, right? It will enhance those products. It will allow some cool things that we weren't able to do before around electrification and emissions specifically. But we're also going to have these 2 new mobility data solutions products. The first, as an example, is going to be called Vehicle Journeys. That is essentially the waypoints, the pings, and the trips that describe individual journeys, but with a ton of privacy protection attached. Now, these are giant terabyte deliveries. They're going to be the biggest in size products we've ever sent. And they are for folks who know how to process data at that scale, who have the architecture in the cloud and have the cybersecurity in place to handle it. So we're going to be showcasing key product examples from all the different solutions you see here. But if we don't get to something today, because we just had to cut so much to fit everything we wanted to talk about into today's, please follow up with one of your StreetLight friends and we can tell you more. All right, next slide, please. So before I hand it off to Haley and Nick to get into the details, I wanted to zoom out, big picture of this industry that we're all a part of. The only constant in the big data world is change. We will always be changing, and I don't think that ever will change. I don't think that should change. That sort of momentum is how we innovate and how we evolve. But as we talked about before, the last year or two have been extra rough for our industry, big data for transportation. As I hope I've shown you with our TomTom partnerships, our GM partnerships, and as Haley and Nick will show you with some of our new LBS-derived active mode products, the industry collectively, not just StreetLight, us, our competitors, our customers, we're in a much better place. And that is exciting. Before I hand you over, I want to share sort of my big picture philosophy, and I'd like you to keep that in mind as you learn about all of these new products. A good data product is a three-legged stool. The first leg is having the right data supplier for the use case. There is no best supplier, right? Our GM data is not better than our TomTom data, not better than another data supplier we might bring in. Different data sets are better for different use cases because they all have different attributes. So it's about having the right data and knowing which one is the right data for your use case. Next, you need excellent data science to turn a giant pile of data into a useful, accurate analytic, right? You don't want, 6 terabytes if all you need to know is the monthly average daily traffic on these 10 roads, right? So that's where the data science comes in. And the third leg of the stool is user experience. You need excellent user experience to help you, customers, apply those analytics, understand the story they're telling you, and make better decisions. This could look like fantastic 3D visualizations. It could be really good training videos. It could be our quick views, which you'll learn about. It could be our training and certification program. All of that is part of user experience. And you truly need all 3 legs. They are equally important to our success and your success. And now that our broader industry has got that supplier leg a little less wobbly than it was last year, I'm excited that we can return our focus to the fantastic data science, fantastic user experience, and the fantastic decisions that our tools enable. So with that, I will turn it over to Haley and Nick.
Thank you, Laura. I'm really excited to present on our new offerings today. And for this section, I'm going to cover some of the key features launched within our planning solutions products. Next slide, please. Over the past year, we have launched 4 new planning tools within our Insight platform that have a new, easy-to-use interface specifically built for key use cases and macro-level trends. The first one I'm going to cover was launched in November as a part of the Mode Share product, and that is the Active Transportation Monitor shown here on the screen. The Active Transportation Monitor allows you to compare travel behavior of bikes, pedestrians, and vehicles year over year from 2019 to 2022 with volume and mode share at the census tract level. You can easily demonstrate trends across time to garner stakeholder and public buy-in for future needs and analyze defensible insights without the cost and sample size limitations of temporary counters and surveys. And if you need to go deeper and get additional metrics, you can use our other analysis as needed. Next slide. Now, I'm going to talk about 2 new and exciting quick views that were launched with our corridor and congestion product. The corridor quick view was released this past month, back in January, and it allows you to scan hundreds of segments, including complex segments with overpasses, lane widening, and intersections in just a few clicks. You can quickly group and compare multiple segments by direction for concept-level design recommendations and safety evaluations. This will save time with corridor-level analysis for all road sizes, from small to large corridors. You can highlight defensible trends and visualizations to stakeholders with easily shareable outputs to justify corridor prioritization. Additionally, this corridor quick view, you can look at granular trends by day parts and day types with 15-minute granularity with a very easy to use interface, as you can see here. Next is the congestion quick view within the screen. Back one slide. Oh, sorry. Next is the congestion quick view, which was released last summer. So in this screen, you see the corridor on the left and the congestion on the right. So for the congestion quick view, this is one powerful solution for all of your congestion management reporting needs, highlighting macro level mobility trends and granular insights with just one platform. Just like the corridor quick view, with congestion, you can look at granular trends as well by day parts, day types with 15-minute granularity that include VHD, VMT, travel time index, planning index for large geographic areas. And much like with corridor congestion, if you need additional congestion metrics, you can use our other analysis as well. Next slide. Now I'm going to talk about another exciting quick view that was launched with our roadway volumes product last summer. The roadway volumes quick view allows you to scan geographies at scale, access macro level roadway volumes instantly, and easily share summarized results with stakeholders. The quick view should empower project prioritization and funding decisions with impactful macro-level roadway volume trends. And much like the other quick views, we have another analysis types if you need to go deeper. But this is a simple view to view ADT at the macro level scale. Awesome. Thank you. Next slide. So we just cruised through the planning solutions, and now I'm going to take it over to the safety. So in this particular, so we've wrapped up the planning solutions, and now in the safety, we'll be diving into safety solution products and focusing on a new product that we added back to the mix in October. And that is something new and exciting, and it's safety prioritize. Next slide. StreetLight's new safety prioritized product is the ultimate solution for data-driven road safety. We automate and make impactful the easy parts, and each solution has a customization phase to incorporate your local concerns and processes. And we keep the team with you to understand and interpret and explain decisions as we go. By combining data-driven approaches with our expertise, we are able to identify risks and implement evidence-based safety measures, paving the way for significant strides towards a safer road environment. And some of the highlights of Safety Prioritize are consistent data across all phases of safety planning. And you can use this tool to secure more funding. You can evaluate before and after successes and find the right countermeasures and enhance stakeholder communications, just like with the other products you've seen already. Next slide. Some additional key features with Safety Prioritize are integrated data from a variety of novel and traditional data sources, such as crashes and connected vehicles and more. It includes equity layers to review for alignment with Justice 40 for enhanced funding opportunities, and heat maps of locations with high potential for boosting safety and areas over-indexing on vulnerable road users. Additionally, comprehensive and transportation regression analysis to screen your network and pinpoint safety hotspots, interactive selection processes, including cost-benefit analysis for more informed countermeasure diagnosis. And lastly, and it continues monitoring of safety treatment by integrating existing project locations for before and crash analysis. Next slide. With our Safety Prioritized tool, we have the safety improvement metrics that were developed by our data science team that include a scoring to identify locations with the most potential for safety improvements. This also includes the Vulnerable Road User Index that highlights areas with high concentrations of non-motorist and safety improvement locations by category. And so this is our Safety Prioritize offering. So now I'm going to hand it over to Haley, who's going to jump into our construction section.
Great. Thanks, Nick. Sorry, I had to unmute myself. So we're going to dive into the operations solution set of products, specifically the construction product that we recently launched. This tool is for public agencies only, and we're really excited to showcase it since it allows our customers to get near real-time data within 48 hours, something pivotal for operations use cases. So for those of you that are very interested in this after this session, Antonio is actually going to do a deep dive on this product with a live demo later today. So we're going to give you a little tease just to let folks know what's going on, and stay tuned for more later. So when building this new construction product, we heard from many DOTs that there were huge data gaps throughout their construction projects due to lack of recent, reliable, and comprehensive traffic volumes, safety concerns during construction, and the inability to quantify impact of traffic controls and events. So what that means is with the proper data, folks in the construction world, the construction windows could be refined to shorten project durations with monthly volume estimates for all major roads. Detours, public messaging, and traffic controls could be optimized with data that measures traffic impact for all times of day. Messaging and enforcement could be more targeted with a comprehensive view of speeds throughout construction zones. So with all of that in mind, our team built a product to ensure that project decisions are informed by validated data-driven insights to expedite construction, improve work zone safety, plan better detours, reduce driver frustration, and improve team communications. So as you can see on this slide here, this is just one screenshot of the product. Again, there'll be a demo later today. But what makes the StreetLight construction product unique is that we have validated monthly volumes throughout the construction zone, metrics available for any road in the zone, and the ability to get historical routing and origin destination metrics as an add-on as well. So this new product for agencies helps folks working on construction projects make better decisions with insights about traffic patterns on any roads without installing sensors. This tool includes key metrics like historical volume and speed, daily average speeds, daily route-based travel times, daily network-wide timeline view, and real-time speeds to pinpoint and mitigate traffic disruptions in construction zones. What is really exciting in this first near real-time offering, which is different than some of our traditional historical StreetLight metrics, is that it allows agencies to leverage near real-time traffic flows and compare that to historical traffic flows to dynamically adjust plans and identify unsafe situations or use real-time data for active transportation management. We already have customers using this product. Antonio is going to go through an example later today with Georgia DOT on a critical project in the Metro Atlanta region, where there's a major interchange construction project going on. And GDOT, with the help of Jacobs, used the tool to determine optimal lane closures during the construction project. So prior to the construction product, they lacked key data for new roads that didn't have historical data, or existing roads that had traffic counters removed or not operational during construction. And so we'll share more details on that in a case study coming soon. But that's an exciting use case for how folks can actually use this tool in the real world. So we're going to move along to talk about our next product solution suite. And just something kind of echoing what Laura said and Nick as well, is we're just going through a couple key highlights. We don't have, a ton of time today, and we want to keep these sessions as succinct as possible. So for those products that we're not discussing today, definitely feel free to reach out to us and you can learn more. So moving along into climate solutions. Today, we're going to focus on GHG measurement, which is the top product over there under the climate solutions column. We also have an EV charger deployment product as well that we're not going to focus on today. So GHG emissions, as everyone knows, have been a hot topic for not only the entire world due to how transportation causes a lot of emissions, but a lot of our customers, and particularly DOTs and MPOs that are approaching deadlines for the FHWA performance measures for GHG baseline reporting and the many grants out there, via the EPA and IRA related to climate action plans. But despite the fact that it's a hot topic right now, GHG is not a new topic for us at StreetLight. In fact, many of our customers, including the Metropolitan Council Twin Cities and Southern Maine Planning and Development Commission, have been using our OD and VMT metrics in the past to calculate their own GHG metrics. What I am showcasing today, though, is our new product that we launched in the second half of last year that allows you to set up your region for success with realistic baselines and spend less time on calculations with easy access to GHG emissions data. And it allows folks to spend more time on developing mitigation strategies. So if you ask folks, that had to calculate this on their own prior to this product, it's a pretty painful process because you have to do a lot of work. This offering spits out all the numbers for you, so it's pretty easy. All DOTs and MPOs must establish those declining CO2 baselines, a target, and establish a method for measuring and reporting progress towards those targets. And so what I'm showing you today is GHG metrics that include segment level metrics and census tract level metrics to get the full picture of emissions and even go beyond a lot of the FHWA requirements. So our product ensures that you're measuring what your region can actually control. We offer different methodologies that look at GHG within your jurisdiction or GHG from induced activity. And it helps get in front of those GHG measurement requirements with quick access to the exact road level data points that you need. So this is just a quick list of some of the features that are available within this new GHG measurement product. We provide annual baseline GHG emission measurements to measure carbon reduction efforts over time. And this includes, as I mentioned before, both area or road segment granularity. So it's really critical for folks to be able to get the detailed GHG emission metrics they need that actually break out the trip type and the vehicle type to ensure that you have the data you need to collaborate with state agencies or different folks on the measurement requirements. So this includes vehicle, truck, EV avoided emission modes. We provide all those different, I like to say, flavors of GHG metrics to be able to understand the mode specific impacts. We also break it out via internal, external, all of the trip types. I'm not going to read all four because it's a tongue twister, but everyone knows what those are. And then we also provide two methodologies, induced activity or within boundary, basically to allow folks to understand where to target reduction, what can actually affect change. And we provide both, so you don't have to choose one or the other. We provide both methodologies for folks to use. So basically, all of this is available so you can really choose what makes sense for you. Because the GHG, a lot of the measurements and requirements are kind of a new frontier for folks. Folks are learning as they go. So we want to give folks the most amount of data that they have possible to be able to make those informed decisions for their agencies or for firms that are helping agencies fulfill a lot of these requirements. So we had a webinar back in December that walked through a bunch of examples. So I'm definitely not going to go through all of them because that was a 45-minute webinar. So check that out if you missed it. It was right before the holidays. So I think some folks were already checked out for the holidays, but it's on our website. So check that out. I'm going to walk you through 3 visualizations just to help you understand how this product can be used in your regions. We're looking at an example in Florida, and I think this contextualizes the product a little bit more. And again, check out the webinar for more details. So what you can see on the slide here, this specific screenshot focuses on the counties around Ocala, Marion County, and Gainesville in north central Florida. So this is the region where the I-75 runs through, and you can see that on the map on the left. On the top right map, you can see that Marion and Sumter counties have very high proportions of HG emissions. So that's the red color that you'll see over there. And that's because the I-75 runs through those counties. So that makes sense, right? There is a big interstate running through, obviously high HG emissions. You can also see that the I-75 also runs through Alachua County, but the proportion of HG emissions isn't as high there, which suggests that the HG traffic is not necessarily stopping, beginning, or terminating in that county, but it is in some of the other counties like Marion and Sumter. So these different slivers, different flavors of GHG can help you really pinpoint what is causing emission in certain areas. So what this means is Alachua will not have much control over its HG emissions. So first, maybe it's better to advocate for certain types of methodology to be able to ensure that we're measuring it the right way for that area. Like all rural counties, Marion and Sumter have more options. Maybe they can collaborate on getting more pilot money for heavy-duty EV refueling stations. Maybe they can work to set up coordination with trucks to prevent half-full deliveries. So these kind of insights give folks the opportunity to figure out, again, where they can enact change. Citrus and Levy counties to the west, you'll see, have a much lower proportion of HG emissions. So that's the red, and higher proportions of LD emissions, which is the blue. So there's not an interstate highway there, which is why you see those numbers. And then lastly, on the bottom right chart, this breaks out similar trip trends. You'll see internal, external, internal, et cetera. And basically this gives information regarding the GHG emissions that are passing through or not passing through. And it's really important when establishing those accurate baselines for appropriate reduction targets. I'm just going to show this one last slide, but this is actually really interesting because this slide looks at avoided emissions from EVs and plug-in hybrids. And so we give that as another flavor of the GHG offering. As Laura talked about earlier, and as we know in the climate world, there's the GHG element, and then there's also like, what can you do about it? And this is a really interesting one because as EV becomes a hot topic, this kind of combines those notions together of how can electric vehicles help in certain scenarios lower emissions. So it's important to consider this as EVs become more prevalent and also as we begin to track emissions over time. On this map, the highest avoided emissions are where high VMT coincides with high EV adoption. As you can imagine, this is in the the urban population centers. So you can see the higher concentrations in areas like Miami, Orlando, Tampa, et cetera. And then lastly, places like Jacksonville or Gainesville don't pop as much on this map, even though they actually have high emissions and VMT. And this is due to lower EV penetration than in Miami, Orlando, Tampa, et cetera. So just another flavor of how to view this.